welcome everyone to this edition of the Completely Unnecessary Podcast. It's almost Halloween Eve, woo! But it's Tuesday, October 24th. We are 1 week away, actually, 2017. You're Ian Ferguson.
I am.
I'm Pat Contry. We're talking about the Analog Super NT being announced. We're talking about EA Visceral closing down. We're talking about limited run manufacturing Nintendo Switch games, physical games, the NeoGAF meltdown, a certain prototype NES ROM was dumped, and other fun stuff. Ian, what was going on? Did you enjoy Portland Retro Gaming Expo?
I did. Portland Retro Gaming Expo was great as always this year. Didn't see nearly as much of it this year as I have in previous years. I don't know. It actually felt busier, and I'm not sure why. But the setup was insane. The arcade room was packed, larger than it normally is.
Tons of pinball games this year.
Like 90 of them, I think.
Was it 90? I thought I saw like 50.
They officially said on the website that they were doubling what they had from last year to over doubling to 90 pinball machines.
And we're talking high-end, like, quality games.
Yeah, and they were all in really nice shape. And from where I was sitting, it seemed like they were actually doing work on the machines that were breaking down on the floor, like right there, and then putting them back out on the floor.
I mean, they had like some hard to find ones. They had the Elvira one. They had the Creature of Black Lagoon there.
They had a really nice creature there.
Some goofy ones like Champion Pub, just like goofy ones that I adore. And there's some, they said electromechanical ones as well that were nice.
They had they had the Pabst Can Crusher. They had the Whoa Nelly, which are like modern day electromechanical style pinball machines.
Oh, that's right. That Melons one. That was a modern Stern electromechanical.
No, it's not Stern though.
Was it Stern?
No, the same company also did a Pabst-based machine.
When I first saw that machine, I'm like, "Oh, is this new?" I never heard of a melons theme.
Yeah,
innuendo.
It was new.
Check out my melons.
It was new, and similar machine called Pabst Can Crusher was there, which I didn't get to play.
And then I even saw some like digital new mock-up pinball machines.
Oh yeah, they had some virtual pins there as well.
They were cool.
That are always neat to see. That I always think about, but it's never the same. But they are cool. I mean, it just in terms of what people have done with technology. Tons of vendors. I mean,
I think it was over 125 or something like that. There's a lot.
So many that I actually have to tell this story, and hopefully the vendors listening. On Friday, which was just the arcade day, I went into the vendor hall. And I was just looking around for people to say hi to because all the vendors were setting up, and we weren't in the vendor hall. We were in we were actually in the arcade room, which was different than previous years. So I was looking around for people setting up to say hello to, and someone who they looked very familiar, but I couldn't remember their names. They were unpacking their games, and they had all of their Game Boy stuff nicely organized. So that caught my eye, and I was like, well. I'm just going to see if I can check it out real quick. Because most people don't organize their Game Boy stuff that nicely. I'm thinking they probably have some good stuff. I find a Gradius 2 that I want. And I didn't have cash on me, and they weren't set up for card, and they weren't really selling anyways. And they were like, well, we can hold it for you until tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
The next day, we get there, and the divider is wide open. It's not closed anymore. There's no doors in between the arcade area and the vendor area. It's just wide open. And over the course of 2 days, I tried to find that booth again so that I could buy the Gradius 2.
And you're like...
I never found the booth again. I tried to spot them by person or by what they had laid out on the table.
Written it down in your hand, then the booth number.
I remembered it by, okay, I went in this far, like, right entrance, and it was, like, this kind of... And I have no idea where they were. So, if you're out there and you still have that Gradius 2... Get in touch with me. I'll buy it.
There was a vendor. I'm not trying to plug a certain NES guy, but there was a vendor that said, "Bring me one of your books later on Sunday."
Yeah,
I want at least one. I don't remember where it was. So there was one vendor I didn't get at least one book to. That I was just like, oh, okay, and couldn't do it.
Yeah, I was supposed to meet up with Andrew from Rockheart on Rockheart. It's a clothing company.
I don't think I haven't got a chance to say hi to him all week. I'm trying to remember.
I was supposed to meet up with him on like Friday, and I didn't find him until Sunday. I mean, that's
the way. That's why PRG is, though. It's just gigantic.
I mean, besides the fact that it's busy, I mean, it has gotten so huge that, I mean, you really can't overstate how big of a retro gaming convention PRG is.
I didn't get to talk to Chris Kohler till Sunday. Usually I see him on the first day or like Saturday. We talk a lot, and I didn't see him till Sunday. We spoke for like 5 minutes. I found out he had the Nintendo Fun Club issues I was looking at on Friday when he wasn't there. And, it was Chris Kohler's getting rid of his extras, of course, and then he had sold them by then, but that was it. Didn't get a chance to talk to him. It's a nutty event. Besides trying to meet everyone and then bringing a bunch of books there. There's just, you run into everyone and you have like a second to talk to them. Yeah. I actually feel bad. Like I didn't even really talk with like Norm is someone that I'll hang out with at most of these conventions for a long time, and I didn't even really get a chance to at this one, even though, he's always there at these. Right. So it's just a weirder event for that. It really is. It feels more like to me, more like there's some fun there, but it's more like this is work.
Well, it's a blast, and I mean, the counterpoint that is like Vani was there, and she had an amazing time, and she likes working conventions, and she like really helped because you split off to a different area, but she really helped like Norm, Rue, and myself a lot. But she likes working the table, and she took some time to go look around. She loved it, but I mean, I'm sitting here today, and I don't know how I'm gonna do on this podcast. But
I don't know.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
It would have been exhausting if that wasn't my third week in a row doing it. Right, I'd still be exhausted.
Yeah, I had two pretty nerdy moments. I had two nerd out moments. I don't tend to nerd out very often, but I got to talk to Leonard Herman more than I did at a video game.
Author of Phoenix Rise of Video Games.
4, yeah.
I mean, he was publishing video game history books in the early 90s when no one was doing it.
Yeah, the guy's a national treasure, and not enough people know about him.
He's from New Jersey. Probably didn't grow up far from Frank. And, he was personal friends with Ralph Baer. And check out his book, Phoenix Rise of Video Games. He was nice enough to give me a copy back in New Jersey. Yeah. I was going to give him a copy of my book. He said, I already bought it. So I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, he gave me a signed copy of the book at this convention. We got to talk more, and it's probably my favorite thing that I took home from the convention. And I can't wait to dive into it.
Salt of the earth, would you say? Salt of the earth?
Yeah.
One of those salt of the earth folks.
And like I said, a treasure and one of the heroes of preservation.
I always like enjoying it. It hasn't happened in a couple years, but my pal Dane from my favorite website, Nintendo Age. I always love hanging out with Dane and seeing him and getting to hang out. And we always hang out during the auction and get to talk and shoot the shit. And we were always astounded by some prices. It's good to hear him talk about certain stuff go for way more than they should, like that DS glucose meter. Or Dane's like, you can find that at Walgreens at clearance for $10 at some stores. Dane was saying that during the auction. This device went for $200 new. I just look at my phone right away on Amazon Prime. You can get it for $80 on Prime brand new, and it goes for $200. That's the nature of an auction, though. If you don't know what it should cost, you get into the frenzy, you overbid on stuff.
Well, that's also kind of the point of the auction. I think it was Frank and I who were discussing it. Is like it gets you to spend more, and especially the charity auction. That's okay, but it's part of the frenzy. I mean,
sure.
You see things go for way more than they should.
You have to be educated a little bit, or you can lose a little bit. Yeah.
And the other person that I finally got to meet that was awesome. And like I said, this was kind of my real geek out moment. I tried to keep it down, but was meeting Ben Hackendorn.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You didn't get to meet him last year.
No,
at all.
I didn't. And that was really cool.
I saw that. I had to walk away, but you were saying, "Oh, Ben, yeah."
And we chatted for a bit. I've been following his stuff since I don't know the early 2000s. I mean, since he started, I think people were posting links to shit he was doing on maybe even TSR's NES Pit message board. So, I mean, I've been following all of his, his wacky contraptions and builds for forever, and finally getting to meet him was really, really cool.
Yeah, last year I did a sit down with him for like 15-20 minutes. It was really fun. We had a lot of fun with that. It was on the Not So Common podcast. Yeah, one of the earlier ones. So check out that other one. Other things, by the way, speaking of Frank, did a great job setting up the museum exhibit amazing. With Rick Weiss's insane Atari 2600 collection. Rick is one of the board members, and he helps put on the Retro Gaming Expo there. Shout out to Chuck and Toby, everyone else there, putting on a great show. Yeah. Super professional.
Everyone's
show.
Fantastic.
Jake, who helps out there. I've seen him start from a volunteer, and now he's like the main guy there, helping run like the little activities on just like super nice guy, very helpful. Panels run super professionally. at the event. I had 2 panels. Ian, I gave you a break in the second one. We got our cute little cards for the Atari 4th anniversary.
Yeah, those are really nice looking.
The art they had the original
like
Atari. Remember all those painted ones, like Defender, and the woman's like running away from the alien attack.
Yeah.
The same artist looks like did the promo poster work for this event for the 4th anniversary. And there was actually a topic I was gonna bring up that I saw an article and Steve retweeted. This is how PRG is. I'm eating breakfast on Saturday morning, half asleep, and I hear a conversation about, I think it was Ed Freeze. Was like, yeah, we're trying to track down what the first game ROM from Grand Attack.
Oh yeah.
Grand Attack, not Grand. What is it? Grand Rally 10? Is that what it was? So we're talking 1974 Atari game. Let's see. Is it Grand Rally? What'd Steve just tweet out? But I heard the conversation like 2 days before I see it written about online. Just all these Atari developers around me and some other people that I forgot what they were from. I was so tired on Saturday morning. But they're talking about, yeah, we're trying to track it down. We think that John Harding might have an earlier version. And then I see the article written a few days later. So that's what I mean. Like, this is like the heartbeat of what's going on at this point in the retro gaming scene, and even for these early developers to get together. Maybe I should bring that up real quick as an aside, because that was an interesting story, but I heard it firsthand at the table. I'm eating my buffet eggs and bacon. I'm hearing them talk about this. Here it is. Finding the first video game ROM. This is a mini topic. This is, let's see. Ed Freeze, he was at the table. And John Hardy found, Grand Track. So that was like the first arcade game that actually used a ROM.
And not solid state logic, right?
Or not something, I think the graphics used to be built into like tubes before that or something.
Right.
This is all packed into a read-only memory chip.
Gotcha.
So they were looking at the original schematics, and the chip was marked 70. I think the original one was marked 74, which is for 1974. Then the next is the date of the year. That's how the chips were produced. It's like the first 2 digits of the year, second 2 what week of the year. So the first one, like I think it was like 74. Okay, here we go. So 74186, what they thought was the earlier ROM, but then they actually found an earlier one. So they actually found the prototype ROM. So they actually found the very first video game ROM they think ever produced. But I heard the conversation happen around while I'm eating breakfast.
And that's the sort of stuff that just
happens. I didn't feel like I didn't introduce myself to anyone. I felt like, who the fuck am I? You know, all these people that you have the guy sitting across from me. I think there was one guy that helped create the prototype for the 2600 sitting across from me. It's like, who the fuck am I? I just kept my mouth shut and ate my bacon and eggs. Yeah, I like walked away. Like, I don't think I was being mean. I was just like, I have no place in this conversation. Yeah, I'm just lucky to like hear it happen as we go and sell a certain NES guidebook afterwards. But that's why I like Portland for that, and seeing everyone. And there's no time for a second year in a row. I get a chance to talk to Peanut Butter Gamer. Last year I saw him for a second, like just entirely out of my mind because I was deathly tired. This year I didn't even see him at all. But we got to hang out with Gerard.
With Gerard
and Satch.
Right, and Norm and Rue, and it was great seeing all these people, and it was great meeting some new friends and getting to know some people better.
And seeing the Metal Jesus crew for a little bit, John Hancock, seeing Kelsey, Kinsey, Reggie for a little bit.
We did our big beer trade, Kinsey and I, and Norm was part of it, and John Riggs was part of it, and we had a bunch of people doing it this year, and it was a lot of fun. But it's gotten to the point now where at PRGE, if you want to hang out and see your friends, like, Gerard and I were talking, it's like, if we see each other on the floor, if we don't we're probably not even going to get a chance to say hi to each other. Yeah. If you want to see friends at Portland Retro Gaming Expo, you go up a couple days early.
Or you stay late.
Gerard
was telling me, we're going to stay later.
It seems more and more people are staying later, actually.
After the way I feel now, I feel I should do that to decompress the next day.
Yep. I think next year I'm definitely going to
see if we can stay Monday.
Try to stay into Monday and leave Monday night.
So just, again, a great time. And then plus I did a sit-down interview with the Not For Resale guys. You did, I think you did a 10-minute interview as well.
I did 20 minutes with them.
We did a sit-down with me, Kelsey from Pink Gorilla, and Frank Cifaldi for a half hour, and we probably could have spoke for an hour about where we think physical media is, the future of retro game collecting 10, 20, 30 years from now, and we had to cut it, but we could have went forever talking about that. So again, we're not just bloviating about it because we love that event. We just love it. Yep. And I will be next. I get a month off, kind of, not really a month off, but a month off from conventions, and I'll be at Retro Game Con in Syracuse. I am returning. That's my last convention of the year, and that is going to be in Syracuse. I believe it is November 18th and 19th. Go to RetroGameCon.com for more information. The Amazon Prime thing is still going with the Video Game Years. This is easier. Go to thevideogameyears.com. It'll redirect you. Boom. John put up the redirect to that. I forgot he had that.
Awesome.
Off of, I think, GoDaddy or wherever you registered that. Other than that, we're coming back. NES Marathon.
That's right.
NESMarathon.com. Check it out. Me, Ian, Vonnie, Demon Cat, Gerard, Alex, Andre. I mean, it's going to be a fucking blast.
That's right.
I can say that.
Demon Cat.
It's going to be a blast. I'm not saying last year wasn't fun, but last year, as you said in a lot of comments, said Pat looked wrecked last year. Yes, I was wrecked. I'm wrecked most years, but last year more I was wrecked. But with spreading the wealth around, I think it's going to be a little fresher, more livelier to have everyone else involved and make it more of an event that, within the first couple of years we couldn't have seen it get to this point.
Right.
For the 8th year. And that's just building up the relationships and knowing people. I didn't know Andre or Gerard 8 years ago, or Alex, or Demon Cat 8 years ago when he was Mini Demon Cat.
I didn't know Vonnie 8 years ago.
Did you not really know Vonnie 8 years ago? When I first moved here?
That might have been like right before I met her.
Because I've been here 8 years now.
Yeah.
So that's when it started. Well, it started 2010, so 7 years ago. 8th and 7 years, yeah. So NESMarathon.com, that's November 11th and 12th, and you can choose which games you want to play by donating at least $40. There's also sponsorships available. We're using Razoo as the platform because we couldn't figure out the Indiegogo generosity thing in time, but we really appreciate it. It's a fun time. It'll be on Twitch, and we have our Burrito Gate might be solved. We'll see if Burrito Gate was solved. You missed Burrito Gate last year. That's
I remember.
Controversial
I remember
happening with the Burrito Gate. I even forgot what it was about, whether or not Pat ate a burrito or something. But
Vonnie will be able to explain.